So shout out to Make It Come On. It's a YouTube channel I just discovered myself yesterday. Shout out to them. They created this content that I'm about to react to, and I want us to look at it together. It's a hell of a conversation, and they're having this conversation on the internet. But yeah, let's start tackling them one after the other, because honestly, I think the downside to a lot of this conversation is not good. So let's start tackling it one after the other. This subtopic of this particular episode, apparently season 4, episode 3, I just discovered it yesterday. Some of you might have known about it before. But let's watch it together and let's talk about it, right?
I'll stay.
You stay, yeah?
Yeah, do I?
So quickly, before we go into it, what they do is like they'll put out a topic. This topic is marriage is an outdated institution, and that topic is a statement. If you agree with it, you stay. If you don't agree with it, you leave. Right? As you can see, there's what's her name? Just Pearl, right? And we covered one of our content a few days ago. She's in there, So let's go through it.
I'm gonna bring.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree. It's outdated.
So those that disagree, they stand up, they leave.
I don't think it's outdated.
Yeah, it's outdated.
It's outdated.
I've already got the new contract. Yeah, because we're talking about contract. I've got the new contract.
Yeah.
I think human beings right now should do either temporary marriage contracts or rolling relationship contracts. And I mean this. I mean, if you find someone that you actually want to be with, yeah, you can laugh.
It's true though. I agree with you.
Listen, you can laugh, but the way the divorce rate's going right now, it's
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
But I'm saying if you have like a relationship contract that lasts it, you decide with your partner, well, let's try this for a year. If we're happy after a year, we'll continue the contract. And within that contract, you can stipulate to your partner, and your partner can stipulate to you exactly what they want from the relationship and exactly what they expect from the relationship.
The reason I think marriage is outdated is because a lot of ways in how the government oversees marriage is largely based on the way society worked 60 years ago. So the whole reason why the divorce court and family court seem today so biased towards the woman was because those laws were set up in a time where women didn't have the same earning potential as men, they didn't have the same rights as men. But now they do, but those laws haven't been updated. So I do think it's outdated. Also, there was a conversation earlier saying that marriage is taken seriously in the government. No, it's not. Because in marriage, you say for better, for worse, till death do us part, and people get divorced all the time. I would consider getting married today if it was illegal to get divorced.
I hear that. I actually hear that.
Yeah, I think
it's too easy to get divorced.
Too easy.
I think marriage as an institution works, but the problem is the way they do it today just doesn't work. Women are different today than they were in the 1950s. It's not the same type of women.
And essentially, what was marriage for? Like, when you got married, you were getting married to a virgin. That's the whole white dress thing, right? You'll be hard pressed to find a virgin woman nowadays. You're going to get married to. So a man knows that he was going to get this woman untouched, and she was going to be his for life.
Yeah.
You ain't getting no untouched woman nowadays.
And that's the thing. If a woman slept with, if she's a virgin, she has an 80% chance of having a happy marriage in 10 years. If she slept with more than 5 partners, which most men would pray for nowadays, it goes down to a 20% chance. So women are different than they were in the 1950s.
Also, as well, I think nowadays, people get married for love, but marriage has always been about duty.
Yes.
It's always been about, when you say you marry someone, you're saying, I am committing to fulfilling the role of being the husband to you and the father to the children, for better, for worse, and vice versa, for the woman being the wife and the mother. But now everybody gets married for love, and love fluctuates. But
people get married for clout.
You also
not just love.
It's so true.
You also used to have the families involved.
Very much so.
And so like fathers would vet the people that their daughters were seeing.
Right.
Now it's like girls will go after the guy that like feels them.
Feels good.
It feels good, but that's not usually the best husband.
And guys will do the same thing. Guys will go after a girl that...
An IG baddie.
Yeah, an IG baddie that looks great, and you know what, her whole attitude is ridiculous, and she doesn't know how to be a mother, she doesn't know how to be a cook, she doesn't know how to clean, she doesn't know how to do all of the things that you would expect from, the duties that you would expect from a wife. So yeah, I just think, the institution's outdated because I think human beings in the West generally have outgrown the essentials of what marriage is.
Do what?
Got their claws out.
I could hear the chairs like creaking back there, like double dutch, like they want to get in.
There were so many points I disagreed with. I just need to say, firstly,
Are we talking about marriage being outdated? You think it's not outdated?
the divorce statement. It is hard to get divorced. I say that because there are several steps you have to take. You have to prove to the courts that you have tried everything. You have to go through mediation. You've got to go to counselling. You've got to get a decree nisi. You then have to wait 6 months, a year, to see whether you can form again, and then you get your divorce.
Would you agree that if 50% of people that get married are doing it, it's not that hard? Because it's not hard enough that it deters.
But there are
That means out of us 6, half of us would be able to get a divorce.
But that's the same way that if I had 6 women here.
All right, so let me do this. Let me pause it and then do some proper. So basically, she doesn't agree that marriage is outdated, obviously, but she's gone through divorce, like many people, and they keep bringing up the fact that 50% of marriages are ending up in divorce, which we all know, right? Let's see. Gomez says marriage is an amazing institution put in place by God for two consenting individuals to come in love, care, and grow together. The traditional concept based on my thinking looks at it in a more oppressive and controlling manner, which isn't God's plan in the first place. Yes. And that's what a lot of these guys are struggling with, you know. It's basically what they're doing is that they're throwing their hands in the air and say, hey, it's outdated because they can't figure it out. You know when you can't figure something out and you just say, it doesn't work anymore, it's outdated. Like, nah, bro, nah.
Am I whining you?
No. Don't collect slap, you know. don't collect slap there, you know. But what I want to do is I want to go back a little bit and then dissect it one statement at a time, because I feel like there's a lot in there, you know. But let me go back and then, you know, I'll pause if I need to. There's a lot in there, you know, but it's basically this is wussy behavior or wussy behavior. You know what a wussy behavior? You can figure it out. Weak. It's weak. If you can't figure something out, again, can you just turn around and say the judicial system is outdated? No, you can say some of the laws are outdated, sure. But you're still going to have to abide by it. And if you don't abide by it, you know what's going to happen. You're going to collect. You're going to collect, you know. You don't get to run around and say marriage is outdated or things like, oh, let's do a 2-year temporary relationship. Like, what are you talking about, man? One of the things that they don't all talk about when they're having this conversation is the fact that there's romance involved in this. You actually want the person you fell in love with to fall back in love with you. But of course, you can't help yourself, right? You can't help yourself. You have to keep the cap up.
Stop the cap.
No, it's just that the marriage is outdated. No, it's because you're not capable of getting your wife or your husband to fall in love with you over the lifetime, which is what you subscribed for. So now you say, let's try out 2 years. No, that's not what you meant to say. What about the romantic aspect of things, which is what most of you are getting into this situation for? Not even for children. A lot of you don't even want children like that, right? But anyway, let me play it again and let's take it from here. There you go.
You stay, yeah?
Yeah, do I?
I'm gonna bring.
No, I'm gonna disagree.
It's outdated.
I don't think it's outdated.
Yeah, it's outdated.
It's outdated.
So I don't understand. Pearl keeps pandering to men and she can't help herself. I understand. She's young. I'll keep giving her that pass. But she's sitting down because she's not sure if it's outdated or not. Let's hear her talking.
I've already got the new contract. Yeah, because we're talking about contract. I've got the new contract. Yeah. I think human beings right now should do either temporary marriage contracts or rolling relationship contracts. And I mean this. I mean.
So here's the deal. Human beings don't want that. If I have to generalize, human beings don't want that. What they want is they want to be in love for a lifetime. with the same person. That's why they're doing marriage, right? Everyone is aware that it's still dead do us part, but yet they go into it, right? Why? Because they want it. Do they need it? Are they prepared for it? Do they do the right work to be prepared for it? No, they don't. And we can start talking about that as opposed to, let's say, hey, let's just squash it out. Especially when we have way too many information that projects, that tells us that not just projection, even in the past, that it's best for kids to be raised within this type of construct, right? But no, let's just dismantle everything. Let's keep going.
If you find someone that you actually want to be with, yeah, you can laugh.
It's true though. I agree with you.
Listen, you can laugh, but the way the divorce rate's going right now, it's
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
But I'm saying if you have like a relationship contract.
The divorce rate is a function of so many other things. It has nothing to do with the type of contract. After all, if you want to call it a contract, they're destroying it. They're divorcing, right? So the contract is not stopping you from achieving anything. The only thing is your feelings about the contract. You're pissed off that people are divorcing and it's 50% divorce. Well, it's a way of discontinuing the contract. That, if that was the goal, it's already accomplished. You just have to be happy and be okay with it. And yes, I think everyone should be in a space right now where it's okay if people are not working out and they want divorce, because clearly it's not working out. But what is your solution? Let's just write it down that it's going to only last 2 years. Well, how much effort do you think you're going to put in if you knew that it's only going to last 2 years? If you knew that, hey, the end of the road is already potentially 2 years, right? Hey, I'm just going to cheat, I'm just going to misbehave, right? We're talking about people's lives. They're doing life with you. Let me just misbehave so that, worst case scenario, 2 years is over. I can hide my lies for 2 years. So I can get away with my lies in 2 years. Also, I can feel better about myself since it's not working out. Oh, it didn't work out for me. Bro, can you tell me it didn't work out for you, right? You're not telling us about that part. You don't have to. But we can tell these things. We can see these things from afar, right?
That last it, you decide with your partner, well, let's try this for a year. If we're happy after a year, we'll continue the contract. And within that contract, you can stick.
That's why you date. That's why you have girlfriends. That's why you have a fiance. Last time I checked, it's not illegal. It's not a legal proceeding to discontinue an engagement. That's why you get to know people, right? But let me guess, you're trying to have a holistic, accurate mathematical solution here where in 2 years you just know for a fact if we can do this for a life or not. And that's your problem because, again, romantic relationships, which is what we're talking about, is a journey of faith. You cannot use math. This is why you keep failing. So let's just write it. Let's make it 1 year, 2 year. Let's keep on.
Stipulate to your partner, and your partner can stipulate to you exactly what they want from the relationship and exactly what they expect from the relationship.
The reason I think marriage is outdated is because a lot of ways in.
So women would make lists, but now we have men saying exactly what you want from the relationship. What do you think they want from the relationship? They want to do life with the person. They want to, like, who was that? I said that earlier. Let me read that out again. Right? Like individuals who want to come together, love and care and grow together. They have that. But it's not working for some people. Why not? It's because of the long-term contract. That right there is cap.
The cap.
Let's continue.
How the government oversees marriage is largely based on the way society worked 60 years ago. So the whole reason why, the divorce court and family court seem today so biased towards the woman was because those laws were set up in a time where women didn't have the same earning potential as men, they didn't have the same rights as men. But now they do, but those laws haven't been updated. So,
no, there's more information around that. There's more information that you're correct on that one point, but there's also, why is it that a lot of the laws are skewed towards protecting women and children? You keep taking out the children part, right? Yeah, it's protecting women and children. That's what it's skewed more in that direction. You're right. This is why your best bet is to learn how it works. wherever you are in the stages right now, either before you get to the marriage or you're already 2 years into 5 years, stop everything and learn how it works. Learn how you're probably having a crisis already, and now you're like, nah, I know she's trying to steal all my money. No, she's not. She came in to do that life with you, right? I know he's just there. He just wants to do the patriarchy thing. No, he would have told you with his full chest that he wants to be a polygamist. Okay, he fell in love too. That's why he's doing the whole wedding with you, right? There's something you're missing that you don't know. Stop everything and re-engage wise counsel and learn what you need to learn about how it works. This has nothing to do with what type of contract you signed. It has everything to do with you and how prepared you are. Listen, you don't have to be prepared. You have today, you have this moment. You can stop and say, hey, we're having issues. I would like to address this. But let me guess, you're afraid of saying, I want us to address our issues so we can have a healthy relationship. You're afraid of saying that because you don't know what's going to come from that. You don't know how she's going to respond. You don't know how he's going to respond. Well, that's the tough part. That's the work. You have to do the work. You're not going to get some quick, easy answer by let's just dismantle all of the type of contracts in New Jersey State, in Dallas, Texas, in London. Let's just dismantle everything because of your own situation. That doesn't make any sense. The society we're still living in is still a patriarchal society. Is still going to be designed to protect women and children. I don't care how many words salad you put together to try to make yourself feel good because you have all the stats. It's bullshit. The society we live in, the rules, the laws, okay, because of other data that also points in the direction of more violence, in the direction of women and children. We're just going to pretend like this thing don't exist. It's designed that way. Guess who designed it? Men. That has nothing to do with your capabilities of keeping your home together. Both man and wife. You notice in this conversation, nobody talked about the fact that this is romantic relationships. Nobody talked about the fact that emotional intelligence and social skills. No, the only thing closest to that is that he's saying, oh yeah, it was designed for 1960, blah, blah, blah. No. You are trying to operate like you live in 1960. And you're refusing to adjust. That's the problem. Let's keep going.
So I do think it's outdated. Also, there was a conversation earlier saying that marriage is taken seriously in the government. No, it's not. Because in marriage, you say for better, for worse, till death do us part, and people get divorced all the time. I would consider getting married today if it was illegal to get divorced.
I hear that. I actually hear that.
Marriage, you say for better, for worse, till death do us part, and people get divorced all the time.
That's a fact.
I would consider getting married today if it was illegal to get divorced.
He would consider getting married today if it was illegal to get a divorce. Why? Why do you need to hold another human being hostage? I don't understand. Like, I get it. On paper, again, this is why I said you're stuck on math and paper, right? In what's textbook, right? Since it's to death do us part, we should just make it illegal. Dude, we're also more enlightened that you, first of all, take care of yourself. Why are you so stuck on holding another human being hostage if it's not working out, right? Why? What's this obsession? Doesn't that sound crazy to yourself when you said it? Just make it illegal for a person who doesn't want to be with me to live with me. What does that say about your own self-respect and self-love? And loving yourself, what does that say? Listen, if a person doesn't want to be with me, I don't want them with me. I don't care what the Bible said about marriage. I don't don't care. Don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Don't care.
Still don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
I don't care what the Bible said. If she doesn't want to be with me, ladies, you should feel the same way. If he doesn't want to be with you, you shouldn't want to be there either. Doesn't mean you're not going to be sad because Kelly, you just chopped hot breakfast. I understand the emotions, right? But your self-esteem needs to be a little bit healthier than trying to hold other people on stage in your life because you hate the fact that divorce is legal. That is crazy. We need to do better.
I hear that. I actually hear that.
Yeah, I think
it's too easy to get divorced.
I think marriage as an institution works, but the problem is the way they do it.
He said it's too easy to get divorced. Is it easy to get divorced? Did you realize that that's a mindset? Did you realize that that's subjective? How easy exactly is it to get divorced? Let's keep going.
Today just doesn't work. Women are different today. The institution works.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I
Because it's
think
too easy to get divorced.
I think marriage as an institution works, but the problem is the way they do it today just doesn't work. Women are different today than they were in the 1950s. It's not the same type of women.
And essentially, what was my
The problem is that people are not adjusting with the times. People want to have their cake and eat it too. Right? Women want traditional men, but they don't want to maintain some traditional roles. Men want traditional women, but it's completely unrealistic. We're all modern people. I'm sorry. Nobody wants to adjust with respect to the reason why they came together in the first place. Romantic reasons, but hopefully you build a long life family together. It's about the family once you're inside of a family. Everyone wants to operate marriage in a selfish way. Everyone is conflicting self-love with selfish. Those are two different lanes, they don't meet ever. Let's keep going.
age 4? Like, when you got married, you were getting married to a virgin. That's the whole white dress thing, right?
Nah, dude. That's your fantasy in your head. There were people that were not virgins when they got married back in the days. The other issue is that a lot of things were not documented back in the days. The only thing you know is what was documented. You should assume that there have always been bad people in this world. There have always been people breaking the rules of the game, and people trying to game the system of any system. You should assume that and stop living in fact. It's such an ugly picture to see men living in la fantasy land where all human beings are just perfect. That was written down because it was the ideology. It was the ideology that guided that society back then. Am I asking everybody to not have white cloth for marriage right now? I'm saying no, you can't. It's highly likely you won't. Should that stop you from building a family like a human being in 2023? That's what you're suggesting. And your face is disconnected from that, from what you're suggesting. You don't want that. You want a wife that will be with you for a lifetime. And you're refusing to engage the skill set involved in that. Instead, you want to pull out a 2-year contract. A retarded solution at best. Let's keep going.
You'll be hard pressed to find a virgin woman nowadays. You're going to get married to. So a man knows that he was going to get this woman untouched, and she was going to be his for life. Yeah. You ain't getting no untouched woman nowadays.
And that's the thing. If a woman slept with,
that was the standards that was written down. It wasn't necessarily the reality of everyone.
She's a virgin, she has an 80% chance of having a happy marriage in 10 years. If she slept with more than 5 partners, which most men would pray for nowadays, it goes down to...
Oh, Parley's so happy to regurgitate the same bullshit that's written on a website somewhere. She's so happy to regurgitate that shit. That's retarded. Retarded behavior. I'm not saying stats is not useful, but like, come on. Come on. These conversations need to go a little bit deeper than that. There's an 80% chances that stop it. Stop that.
It goes down to a 20% chance. So women are different than they were in the 1950s.
Also, as well, I think nowadays...
She made a good point there. Women are definitely different. What are you going to do about it, gentlemen? Oh, by the way, it's not just women that are different. Gentlemen, you are different too. What are you going to do about that? Or just fantasize about going back to those days and cap all day like, no, we're the same. You're right, modern men and women.
People get married for love, but marriage has always been about duty.
Yes.
It's always been about, when you say you marry someone, you're saying, I am committing to fulfilling the role of being the husband to you and the father to the children, for better, for worse, and vice versa, for the woman being the wife and the mother. But now everybody gets married for love, and love fluctuates. But
people get married for clout.
People do get married for clout, okay? All you have to do is work on yourself. So your discernment radars are off the charts. There are still people that get married the proper way. Most people in healthy marriages are engaged with their duty and responsibility, or else it won't work. And clearly, Even those that are not in happy marriages are still engaged in those duty and responsibilities. You're very quick, young people of nowadays, to say, oh, half of those marriages are not happy. Okay, but they're staying. Why? Because somebody is still engaged in the duty and responsibility. But guess what? You want to completely negate the happiness part of it, the emotional. It's not the happy thing. You keep calling it happy. The emotional part of it. You want to negate, you want to completely discount and pretend that doesn't exist. And call it work. Because even back then, emotions was part of human beings. If a person doesn't feel safe, if your husband doesn't feel safe, emotionally, your wife emotionally around you, they're not going to be able to engage their duty and responsibility. They'll be looking for exit signs everywhere. A husband don't necessarily go and file a divorce. We know that from numbers. They just wait there and cheat and engage in other activities, extracurricular activities outside. But they're gone, right? They're not having the right conversations because it's the blind. He has black glasses. The blind leading the blind. A bunch of unmarried people talking about what they don't understand from their limited experiences. And that's problematic. That's part of the problems. The papers, the rules, the laws, the rule of law, they're ideologies that guide us. We try our best to obey them. People still catch tickets on these roads. Why? Because they're human beings. No one is perfect. And if they do it repeatedly, they might end up in jail. A lot of them are able to pay a little fine and get away with it. They don't go around and say, let's change the laws. The only time we do that is in romantic relationships. And then we pretend we're not talking about romantic relationships. It's just duty and responsibility. Stop the cap.
You also
so true.
You also used to have the families involved.
Very much so.
And so like fathers would vet the people that their daughters were seeing.
Right.
Now it's like girls will go after the guy that like.
That's because you all are choosing to get older before you engage marriage. If you're 37 years old woman, you can choose not to involve. You might not even be on good terms with your father. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but it's kind of to be expected. If you're a 32-year-old man, before you start to think about marriage, listen, you're not thinking about, you've been an adult for like last 24 years. Okay, not 24. 12 years. That girl has been sleeping over at your house for 2 years. How much vetting are they going to do for you? The times have changed in so many other directions, but you have to take responsibility for that. Right?
Feels
good.
It feels good, but that's not usually the best husband.
And guys will do the same thing. Guys will go after a girl that...
An IG baddie.
Yeah, an IG baddie that looks great, and you know what? Her whole attitude is ridiculous, and she doesn't know...
Thank God at least he's holding men accountable right now. Usually they don't, but at least it's balanced.
How to be a mother. She doesn't know how to be a cook. She doesn't know how to clean. She doesn't know how to do all of the things that you would expect from the duties that you would expect from a wife. So yeah, I just...
He said the duties. Is the do-e part? The do-e. A do-e. No, it's the do-e. These people, man. The duties you would expect from... If you expect to make 80 grand a year and she's going to make the other 80 grand a year to give you guys a good lifestyle, right? Your definition of duty might change because she will still be engaged in duty. But it looks like you have your own list already. Let's go back.
Her attitude is ridiculous, and she doesn't know how to be a mother. She doesn't know how to be a cook. She doesn't know how to clean. She doesn't know how to do all of the things that you would expect from the duties that you would expect from a wife. So yeah, I just think, the institution's outdated because I think human beings in the West generally have outgrown the essentials of what marriage is.
So we should just dismantle the whole thing.
I could hear the chairs like creaking back there, like double dutch, like they want to get in.
There were so many points I disagreed with. I just need to say.
Before we get into our disagreement, let me see what you all are saying here. Fumi, good to see you, Fumi. She said the craziest thing I've ever heard. Yeah, that's... What did he say again? I forgot. Something about divorce should be illegal. Like, what are you talking about, man? You might need that divorce, dude. You might need that divorce to run away from a crazy person. Sounds like an insecure person. Yeah, a lot of this is coming from insecurity. A lot of the talking points you just made, except Pearl. Pearl is ignorant. The only thing she knows is statistics, recorded data on the internet, and basically the talking points she's heard from men and all the worst that society has to offer in terms of ladies. You know, she keeps engaging a bunch of women who wants just money. So she's very quick to go in that direction. She doesn't know what she's talking about for the most part. She don't care too. Go and say I don't care. This guy in the glasses is really something. It seems to be speaking. It's all experience. It's all personal. It's all personal. I promise you. I promise you. Let's continue. Let's see what she wants to say.
Okay. Firstly,
are we talking about marriage being outdated? You think it's not outdated?
The divorce statement. It is hard to get divorced. I say that because there are several steps you have to take.
Anybody with any sense knows that even if you went to the court and represented yourself and you said you want no contest, it's the hardest thing for any human being to end a marriage. Every human being. You can make an argument that, you know, society is making it easier. See, easier is not the direct opposite of hard or difficult, right? It's more difficult to be direct opposite of easier. But difficult, divorce is always difficult. It's always difficult for a person who entered a marriage, a typical person, not your IG models, not the advocates of this world. We're not talking about crazy people. We're talking about normal people, like majority of people. It's a difficult thing for anybody to end a marriage that they subscribe to for a lifetime. It's difficult because some of them, it might feel like it's easier for them because suddenly you woke up one day, your wife just wanted divorce. It might seem easier because of that, but she's been nursing this in her mind for years. A lot of times it's been over. She's just looking for courage to say she can't continue. And part of the reasons being you're completely oblivious to what is going on. You don't even know that your wife is about to, like most men in this situation, you don't know she's about to ask you for divorce. You haven't been paying attention. Complacency. Right? So it's like no wonder. No, but it's easy. It's so easy. No, it's not easy. She's right. It's not easy. Is it easier? Yes, people have more. Is it easier than what? Than 1960s? Yes. Why? Because it was 1960. Duh. Jesus Christ.
You have to prove to the courts that you have tried everything. You have to go through mediation. You've got to go to counselling. Mm-hmm. You've got to get a decree nisi. You then have to wait 6 months, a year to see whether you can form again, and then you get your divorce.
Would you agree that if 50% of people that get married are doing it, it's not that hard?
No, I would agree that Pearl, I want to be nice, Pearl. Please, I know you have 1 million subscribers. I get it. In fact, I'm a hater on that level, right? Because I would like to have 1 million subscribers too. You did a fantastic job with that, by the way. Fantastic job. But this conversation is just keep asking questions. Oh, I got caught up in my emotions. She was asking questions.
Because it's not hard enough that it deters.
But
that means out of us 6.
It's not hard enough. Why would you want it to be harder than if you need to escape from what you consider as a man crazy? Why would you want it to be harder than it needs to be? Do you ever look at it from both sides, or no, I'm just going to take my side on code? Terrible.
Of us would be able to get a divorce.
Yeah, that's the same way that if I had 6 women here, half of us would probably be able to make babies and half wouldn't. And some would say it's easy to procreate. Some would say it's easy to conceive. Some say it was...
Exactly. She's made a good point. It's subjective. It depends on what angle you're looking at it from. If you're a man who chopped serious breakfast, it's no wonder you felt like it was too easy. Because you chopped breakfast. If you're a person that needed to escape because you're hearing voices in your head and you feel like your life is about to, like you feel like you're in a encapsulated up in a place that you don't want to be, it's hard. Subjective, right? Can we have this conversation at this levels and not from your personal, because it's obviously personal, right?
It's easy to give birth, but it's not.
Do you think it's hard to give birth?
That's incorrect. That's incorrect.
I think most women can give birth.
80% of women have reproduced historically.
I'm talking about how complicated it is with the food that we eat.
She knows all the stats. You see, it's wahala. This is serious wahala. She knows all the stats.
The contraceptives that we take, the lifestyle that we choose to live.
Right.
Things are complicated.
If you make
There's multiple layers there are multiple factors and variables that affect these things. Your data ends up in the poto instantly, especially when you have no experience to interpret them properly.
When I'm talking about twerking, because I twerk,
You do.
I do.
Oh, okay.
Does that mean that I'm not wife material?
To some men, yeah.
If you were my wife,
Yeah.
and you went to a club and you were twerking,
So are we saying strippers are not
get
wife
out
material?
of here, man.
Wait, let's-
Strippers are not wifey material. I'm sorry. Whatever her name is. No. All right. Let me ask you, lady. Is stripper wifey material for your son?
more value.
Why not?
That's
Yeah,
her job.
I agree.
But why can't it be my job? Why can't it be my job? I got a fat ass and I know how to make
Not
money
my
for me.
wife.
Why?
Someone else's.
Not fat ass, but she got fort. She got fort ass. Jesus Christ.
Give me someone else's wife. and
This is what you want to do. You want the benefits.
She's
without the
trolling now. She's trolling now.
The consequences, men aren't attracted to women that shake their ass on a pole outside of a one-night stand. They're not attracted to that long-term tip.
Oh, Pearl is she's so serious. She's ready to regurgitate the point. She's right though. Okay, men will smash anything, but it's different from taking you home to mama. It's two different things. But let's
Because historically, men had to ensure paternity.
So I'm at carnival and I'm shaking my ass. I'm not wife material.
No,
Can I ask you? Can I ask you?
She's trolling. She's trolling.
no, I'm being serious.
Can I ask you a question?
She can't be serious. She's trolling, right?
No,
Do you
no,
think-
hang
do you
on, I
think
tell you what.
every-
You are ruling out half of the banding
no,
people at carnival, yeah?
I tell you what you are. You're someone else's wife material. You're not mine. But I'm saying if you go to a club and you're twerking with a guy and you're my wife, you're no longer my wife. You're his girl for the night. For some
She was
reason, you're his
trolling.
girl, because my
I hope so. Some of them are not trolling. Some of these girls are serious.
wife wouldn't do that.
Marriage is a concept.
All right, let's leave that alone. Let's leave that alone. They had like multiple segments in there. That was fun to react to. Let's see what time it is. All right. So let me see. Let's see what you guys are talking about. 80% of women may be able to give birth, but it does not mean it's easy. Yeah, again, she's speaking just facts, no experience. She's 25, so I can't judge her too much. Cherry picking data is so problematic. By the way, at 25, yeah, she's 25 and never left the house. So I think the first time she left the house, she became a YouTuber. So I don't know. I can't take her too seriously. Fumi says, so what about people who met their spouse at a club? Listen, it's a very tricky thing. A lot of people met their spouse at carnivals, at clubs and stuff like this. I think they were talking particularly about twerking. It just depends, man. There's too many nuances to it. That's why it's a very stupid conversation. So just because you twerk, you can't be a wife material. Like, what do you mean twerk? Where? Where were you twerking? Did you twerk every day on the internet? Is this just something you're... Like, if we have to blanket it, a twerker, a person who is just looking for every opportunity to twerk, yes, most likely most men will judge you, want to smash, and that's about it. Okay? I'm being honest with you, just in case you didn't know that before. Okay? I was saying it does not happen ever. That's what it sounded like, but it does happen. All those guys wife up anything from anywhere. If they fall in love, if you rub their head the wrong way, they will fall in love with you, impregnate you, and then end up in a poto, and then try to shame you, even though they are the one that married you. I'm just letting you know what's going on out there. It's crazy. But let's do this. Let's do one more short story. I know I said it's going to be short, but it looks like you guys are having a good time. Let's do one more. I promise. Just this one. This one is a hell of a story. So I want to make sure, because tomorrow I have a one story session. So I want to make sure I cover this before I miss out. My wife was responsible for this. So stay tuned.